Hello, friends. So for today's Read Aloud, we are reading BB-8 on the Run. We're going to focus in on making predictions. So first thing we're going to make predictions on is whether or not this book is fiction or nonfiction. Fiction means not real, and we know that nonfiction means real. We can use clues from the pictures or the words on the front or back cover. I'm going to quickly look at this, and right now, I'm not sure if this is fiction or nonfiction because some of these things could be, I've seen robots in real life, so we don't know. Let's go ahead and read this. It says, how can such a small droid do such a big job? Droid is a big fancy word for a robot. So robots tend to be things that are not real also, but we also know that robots are real. So we need definitely more clues that we're going to use within our book to determine and make that prediction. We need to do some more investigating. So as we're reading along today, I want you to get your focus goggles on, and we're going to stop and we're going to make some predictions together while we're reading, such as what will happen next and if we can determine this book is fiction or nonfiction. All right, let's go ahead and get started. BB-8 wasn't used to being on his own, and it was scary, very scary. His friend Poe had told him to run. Get as far away from here as you can, the pilot had said. I'll come back for you. But BB-8 had seen the explosion back in Tunal village, and he feared Poe was gone. Now it was all up to him to get to the top secret map to the Resistance so they could find Luke Skywalker. All up to him. That was scary too. So we're going to stop, and right now we can make a prediction. Do you think that BB-8 will find Luke Skywalker? Why and why not? Maybe we'll get some more clues along the way as we read. As he took shelter for the night, BB-8 remembered something else Poe had once said to him. It's easy, buddy. You do good things, and good things will come back to you. But how could such a small droid do such a big job? The next morning, as BB-8 resumed his journey, he was glad to come across someone else. It was Tito, but he was in trouble. His lugabeast was sinking into the sand. Please help, said Tito in a language that sounded like screeches and warbles. BB-8 was in a hurry to complete his mission, but he felt sorry for Tito and for the lugabeast too. Maybe BB-8 could do something for them. So now you can make some predictions. What do you think BB-8 will do to help the lugabeast? Actually, his name is Tito. So what do you think BB-8 could do to help his friend Tito? Oh no, it's a trap. I'm going to take you apart and sell you piece by piece, said Tito. You're even more valuable than the other one. Now we're going to put a pause on it. Wow, something just happened. We can say that that was very unpredictable because here we can see that Tito secretly trapped him and that he wanted to sell his parts. So that was very hard to predict. So this is just an example of how books can be also unpredictable as well. What other one? A panel closed above BB, shutting out the sunlight. He realized the only thing scarier than being alone in the dark was not being alone in the dark. Then the huge shape spoke. Please don't hurt me, it cried, trembling. It wasn't a monster at all, just a big, gentle, loading droid. BB chirped happily at the massive thing. You promise? It asked, worried. BB nodded wholeheartedly and beeped and warbled some more. Your name is BB-8, said the loading droid. Mine is F3ZK, but you can call me Fez. The giant was no longer scared. and BB-8 was no longer alone. Fez told BB-8 he was part of a droid ship that was scouting Jakku. His ship was scheduled to leave that afternoon, but Fez was going to miss it because he was stuck in his cell, scheduled to leave that afternoon. BB-8 was torn. Should he stay on Jakku in case Poe came back, or should he try to get off the planet in Fez's ship? The map had to be delivered soon. But first they had to get out of this trap. As BB-8 looked at a loose panel on the floor, he realized he had the perfect plan. So now we're going to put a pause on it. And can you make at home any predictions? What do you think BB-8 might do? Do you think he should stay on Jakku in case Poe came back? Or do you think he should try to get off the planet and Fez's ship? And what do you think he might do with that panel on the floor? Let's see if the predictions you make at home are correct or not. Excuse me, Mr. Funny Lizard, little lizard man. We need your help, said Fez. Tito ran to see what was wrong. BB was missing, and there was an opening in the floor. We were trying to escape, and he fell in that hole, said Fez. So if that was your prediction, that he would go through the panel, you were correct. Nice job using your pictures and your context clues, like our words, to help us. All right, Tito climbed into the cell and looked down into the black space. I don't see him. Look closer, Tito bit over the hole. Closer, said Fez. Tito leaned way over the opening and peered in. Beep! With Tito trapped, the two droids were able to escape. Let's get out of here so I can go home, said Fez. You can come with me if you want. BB-8 let out a series of chirps. A mission? Asked Fez. That sounds important. We'd better get you to the ship. It's picking us up at the ruins. BB and Fez raced across the desert as fast as they could. The good news is, the funny little man is okay, said Fez as he noticed Tito in the distance. The bad news is, he's following us. Suddenly, a flock of angry Stillpeckers flew up between BB-8 and Fez. BB-8 fled one away, and Fez went the other. The birds didn't know which droid to follow. Hey, over here, cried Fez, trying to get the Stillpeckers' attention. Run, BB-8, you have to complete your mission, Fez yelled. I'll save you. BB-8 didn't want to leave his friend, but he had to deliver the map, and Fez was already leading the Stillpeckers away. Alone once again, BB-8 continued his journey. He hoped Fez would be all right. So now we can put a pause on it, and we can safely say that this is probably, well, we know that it is a fiction story. Fiction books are not real, because we know that there are no such things as Stillpeckers. All right, so let's keep reading. Okay, when BB-8 entered Kelvin Ravine, he met a scavenger family. Please, do you know where we could find something to eat? Asked my mother. My children are hungry. Was this another trap? So, looking at this picture right here, can you make a prediction at home on whether or not that would be another trap? We'll see. Let's keep reading. The children crowded around BB-8 when he saw their thin faces. He knew it wasn't a trick. So if you guessed that it wasn't a trick, you were right. You probably used your pictures to help you. We can see that they're friendly and that they had smiling faces. So they're most likely not going to hurt or trap BB-8. He remembered the food packets in the wrecked starship where he'd spent the night, but it was in the opposite direction from where he was going. If he hurried, he could get the family to the food and still make it to the droid ship before it took off, if he hurried. BB-8 hurried. So it looks like he did get the food to the family. All right. Next, BB-8 found a Hepa Boar with an injured leg. BB-8 recalled the medical frigate he'd passed that morning. I'm going to put a pause on it. A Hepa Boar is something that's also made up. That's not real, too. So we know that this is a fiction, right? All right. It would have first aid supplies, but going back for them would probably mean missing the droid ship. BB-8 thought for some time, trying to decide what to do. The Hepa Boar moaned, and BB-8 made up his mind. So let's just focus on this page right here. We're going to stop, put a pause on it. What do you think BB-8 would do? Let's see if your predictions are correct. So, do you think he's going to help the Hepa Boar? Or do you think he would have to, or do you think he'd miss the droid ship? What do you think is going to happen? Okay, Tito was never going to catch him on that slow-moving lugabeast. BB-8 almost felt sorry for the weird little guy. Almost, but not really. BB-8 finally made it back to the Hepa Boar with a medical kit. The beast was so happy it licked him and kissed him. So if you guessed that he would help the Hepa Boar, you were correct. Now, we can use events that's already happened in the story so far for that prediction. So if you made the connection well, he helped the family get them food previously. He would most likely help the Hepa Boar as well. All right. Which wasn't necessarily a good thing. BB-8 worried that he was going to miss the droid ship because he had stopped to help so many people. Just then, as he reached the ruins, he saw something off in the distance. The droid ship, at last! Only it was preparing to launch. Okay, we're going to put a pause on it. I want you at home, we're going to make one last prediction. Do you think he's going to make the droid ship? Or do you think he's going to miss it? I don't know. You must use some clues in the book to help you. All right. BB-8 raced for the ramp as it started to close. Then he saw another wonderful sight. Fez! Fez was okay. He had escaped the Stillpeckers, and he too was running for the droid ship. He waved happily to BB-8, who chirped with joy. They were going to make it off Jakku together after all. So if you guessed that he made it in the ship, you are correct. But then something terrible happened. Uh-oh. Did we make our prediction too soon? Tito appeared, blocking the way. Fez started to panic, but BB-8 quickly formed a plan. He remembered what Tito had said, that BB-8 was more valuable than Fez. He also remembered how Fez had saved him from the Stillpeckers. BB-8 started to speed away from the ship, and Tito followed BB-8 instead of Fez. Where are you going? Yelled Fez. BB-8 beeped an order. Okay, I'll get on the ship, said Fez. Thank you, BB-8. I'll never forget you for helping me. The massive loading droid made it up the ramp just in time. So they did make it after all. BB-8 felt he had done the right thing in helping Fez and the hungry family and the injured Hepa Boar. But if he had done such good things, then why was this bad thing happening to him? He was so confused. Maybe Poe is wrong. Maybe you don't get what you give. So here's a picture of Poe with BB-8 adding something to his head. Looks like an antenna. Or, then again, maybe you do. All right, so in the end, he did find Poe. And so there were a lot of predictions in that story that we just read today. So, very nice job if you followed along at home and you made some correct predictions. And if you didn't, that's okay too. That's the whole fun about making predictions. Okay, friends, so go ahead and kiss your brain. And I know I enjoyed that read aloud. I hope you did too.